In 1986, I made 4 of these rocking horses, a design from Wood Magazine. You can still buy this design today online, but not to worry, I had this magazine, so I went down to the basement to find it. And I couldn't. I don't lose anything. This really upset me. So of the 4 original horses, ours got passed down to family members and disappeared. But there was an uncle who still had one. So I asked them to send me a picture so that I could recreate it. And I tried to recreate it from the picture, but I was never happy with the rockers. So I thought, let's go get the original and trace it. When I made the first ones, I did all the work on the bandsaw. But this time, I want to use my CNC. I was going to trace this onto a piece of old vellum drafting paper that I still had around. To trace it, I had to cut some holes in so that the foot pegs could go through. Paper wasn't quite big enough, so I had to put it on a diagonal. But I kept wrestling, and then I finally got it traced. So, mission accomplished. Now I was going to trace the head. More wrestling with the paper and the parts. Patience occasionally wins out. So now, to go over my sketch and to complete my dimensions. Take a few more dimensions here and there, write them down, and then we can get to work. So now I had the tracing, but the trick is I had to bring it into a CAD system. Once in the CAD system, then I had to create a sketch inside the system. I started out by using multi-point polyline. I didn't like how that looked. It wasn't quite smooth enough. So I started over and used 3-point arcs to get a nice smooth rocker. This I was happy with. Then I did the same for the horse head. That looks pretty good. And I built an assembly inside Fusion 360. Now I had to turn it into CNC code. So I went into the CAM module. Now it's time to find some wood. The reason I chose this design initially is it used a 1x12 by 8 feet and a 1x4. Nice and simple. And a few dowels. Now to break down the 8-foot 1x12, I cut it in half. Then we add a 15-degree angle to the edges of the 1x12. Well, one edge of the 1x12. And both edges of the 1x4, because the legs splay at a 15-degree angle. It's easier for me to do this on the table saw than in the CNC, because I don't have a 15-degree angle router bit. I like to do things as frugally as possible. Now it's time to mount the 1x12 to the CNC. I had to be very careful, because I was going to screw it down. And I've hit too many screw heads with router bits. So I was very careful to measure where to put the screws in my CAM system to make sure I didn't hit them again. Work smarter, not harder. I love watching the CNC. You need to make sure you mount the board properly because the 15-degree angle is closest to the front, and that's where it needs to be. You can see that I used the full width of the 1x12 to maximize the size of the rockers. On the original, I used 2-inch thick material, but this time, since I was CNC cutting it, I decided to use 3/4 and then double it. So I needed 2 rockers and 2 heads, but I didn't need 2 of the inside support pieces. But I was lazy, and I did it anyways because it was easier for me not to create another program. So now that I had my 2 boards cut, I need to use a flush trim bit to cut the bridges and release the parts from the board. This is quick work, and it's a good way to smooth up the edges. Word of caution, pay attention to the 15-degree angle on the top. Make sure you don't damage it. Now we need to glue the 2 halves of the head together. A quick sanding to get the glue to stick better, and then gluing and clamping. This is a 1x12 and they're not always flat, so that's why I use so many clamps to make sure that I closed it up tightly. If you notice, I didn't put a lot of glue right around the eyes because I wanted to make sure to use the dowel to align it during the glue up, but I didn't want to glue the dowel in. But I made sure to glue all of the edges all the way around. Now, I want to put a 1/4-inch roundover bit on both sides of the rocker. This will make it rock nice and smooth and be better quality. Again, make sure not to damage the 15-degree angle on the top where the seat board attaches. Now, my favorite, sanding. I paid special attention to the rockers to make sure to get them smooth, so a lot of hand sanding, more than I usually do. Now I use the random orbit sander with 150 and 220 grit to hit the rest. This will look good. Now we need to do some assembly. First, we need to put the seat board on each of the rockers. You can see I cut a little wedge at 15 degrees to help me align my drill bit. I find it best to start with the drill bit vertical, then tip it at a 15-degree angle. But you're only putting a nub so that it doesn't walk off on you when you start up the drill. Little tricks can really make your life easier. Now we need to screw the seat board to the first rocker. I clamp the rocker down and then use this surface of the workbench to do the alignment. I said it before, work smarter, not harder. Now take that rocker off, clamp the other rocker down, and then use the inside pieces to help align it and put it together. Again, work smarter, not harder. Make clamps and gravity your friend. Now we need to add the inside support piece. I used layout lines, which I didn't show myself drawing, but work smarter and keep from screwing up. That's why I like layout lines. I am always a fan of pre-drilling. That way I don't split good wood that I've worked hard on getting. Now that looks pretty good, and I'm really happy with the rocking action. I'm glad I spent so much time getting it right. Back to sanding. We need to pay special attention to where the seat board meets the rockers and get that smoothed out for a nice quality joint. Round over the seat board edges to improve the touchability, and in this case, the rideability. A little plastic wood to fill the screw holes, and we're on our way. So now it's time to work on the head. Unclamp it. The clamps did a good job closing all the open gaps. Then we sand. Sand, sand, sand. It never ends. Now we need to sand the plugs where we did the wood filler over the screws. And then more continued hand sanding on the head. The devil is in the details, and that's where quality comes from. 1/4-inch roundover bit just to make things smooth, and life is good. So now it's time to drill the holes through the rocker for the foot pegs. This is a little difficult because it's on a 15-degree angle. So I made 2 15-degree wedges to hold it so that when I drill it, it'll be perpendicular or straight up and down or horizontal to the floor. I got everything clamped down for the drilling operation. Do the one side, flip it over, and do the other. I probably made this more difficult than it was. The first time, I think I used a 3/4-inch spade bit and just drilled it horizontally on the bench. Now I like to sand these holes just to clean them up a little bit. Make sure everything lines up and the dowel slides in easily. The foot peg, I want to use dowels to peg them so it won't rotate. So we'll cut them here at the bandsaw. Now we'll center our foot peg, and then we will drill the holes for the dowels so that it won't turn or come out. I used 1/4-inch dowels. I just tried to pay special attention since it's all angled, and I didn't want to drill through the face of the rocker. So now it's time to mount the head. The main thing is to make sure it's centered. So here I'm laying it out. I'm drilling from the top so that I know where my holes are and the layout line's easier on the top. Then when I turn it over, I can countersink for the screw heads on the bottom. Just pay attention, make sure everything's square, and everything will look good when you're done. Working on both the top and the bottom can make your life much easier than just trying to do it all on the bottom. Now we want to mount the handles. So I want to peg them again. So this time I used an 1/8 inch diameter dowel. This works well. I put 2 of them in to make sure it was plenty strong. This little rocking horse is looking good. I'm very happy. But now it's time to finish. We're going to use a beeswax with mineral oil. So I'm going to leave it a natural color, which is what I didn't do the last time. I stained all those dark, but we're going to go with a light color this time. So it's a wipe on, wipe off. So you wipe on the wax, okay? Make sure you get good coverage on everything. And then after 15 minutes, you wipe off any excess. And then after another 15 minutes, I'll do it again just to kind of buff it. After the wax hardens overnight, then you can really buff it up and get a nice luster. This is a nice, simple project, and I'm really happy with it. It's great for toddlers. It's low to the ground. They're in control. And if they fall off, they don't have far to go. And if they rock too hard, the front and back stop them from over-rocking. Again, this is a great project, and I know somebody who's going to get a lot of enjoyment out of this. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and ring the bell. I appreciate you watching the Johnsonville Woodworker.